Today's show goes out to my dad, Steve Radlinski, who we lost 3 years ago today at the age of 82. Not a day goes by, Dad, we don't think about Steve and his wonderful sense of humor and everything that went along with my dad. And so for those of you who knew my dad, maybe raise a glass to him today or give a cheers up to the big guy in the sky. He'd really appreciate that. Dad, I got your Yankee hat on today. I haven't adjusted the size or anything, so don't get upset with me. But I got your Yankee cap on that I bought for you back in 2013 and my first trip to the Bronx. So yeah, today's show goes out to Steve. We love you. We miss you. And here's to you, Dad. I love you.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, Yankees Week in Review. Listen in throughout the baseball season as we will go over the week that was for the New York Yankees. We'll talk about what went right, what went wrong this week, this day in Yankees history, Yankees birthdays, and predictions of what the Bronx Bombers record will be at the end of the upcoming week. It's 1420 Yankees Week in Review, the Yankee Tavern North, brought to you by SeatGeek. So put on your pinstripes, grab a beer, and let's get in. All right, the 1420 Yankee Week in Review for this 14th day of April 2023. Today's show, as always, on Fridays, brought to you by SeatGeek.com. The SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420 pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase of tickets for a Yankee game, a baseball game, whatever you want to go to SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 by using promo code 1420 pod. As promised, each and every week during the baseball season, I will has to be down here in the Yankee Tavern North to talk about the week that was for the New York Yankees. This was an odd week for the Yanks. They're at an 8-5 record, just as I predicted that they would be. They didn't get there how I thought they would be. That they would. They won 2 out of 3 in Baltimore that I did predict, but they could have very easily lost 2 out of 3. That Baltimore team's really good, and Judge had to hit a couple home runs in that series for the Yankees to come out with a series victory, which was great to see. And then I had them actually losing 2 out of 3 to a Cleveland team that can really pitch, but they got beat. They probably could have won that game on I think it was on Monday if they would have got some timely hitting here and there, but they didn't. They had Justin Bieber on the ropes. That's not Justin, it's Shane Bieber. I know that. They had him on the ropes early, but they couldn't get a base hit when it counted most early in that game. The first 2 innings, they had, I think, 4 or 5 base runners, only scored 2 runs, and they could have put that game away early, but they didn't. They ended up losing that game. They won 2 out of 3 after that. It's a little bit scary what happened last night with Johnny Brito. He took a licking last night. That was something I didn't expect to see, but you have a rookie pitcher on the mound in the Bronx. Things were going a little too good for him, and it was a little bit tougher last night with a team that is very good, the Minnesota Twins. But I predicted earlier on last week on our Yankee Week in Review that they would handle the Minnesota Twins because that's what the Yankees seem to do week in or year in, year out with the Minnesota Twins. And it seems it's an odd thing no matter who's on that roster for the Twins. Now they got I'm not going to say his name, Correa. They got him on that roster. They got a really, really good team there in Minnesota. And they'll probably be right there in the American League Central when it's all said and done. But that start last night with Brito hurt the Yankees in more way than one. It was 9-0 early in the first inning before they even got the third out. It was 9-0 with 2 out when Booney came out and took Brito out of the game. It was kind of not a great situation for Brito, but what it does more, it hurts the bullpen a little bit more going to this weekend series with the Twins. I suspect they'll be okay. They got Nestor Cortez going today, but we're talking about the week that was, not the week coming up. So it was one of those things, a tough start last night for a rookie. It's tough to get those ones out of your system, but hopefully he's got something between the ears. Boone said that he's okay. These starts happen. These guys have situations that do come around. The problem that I got with the Yankees this week is not so much they seem to be hitting all okay. They're not hitting with runners in scoring position. Who does anymore with all the strikeouts that happen? But once again, it's the starting pitching that's really starting to worry me. Garrett Cole was once again, he was what Cole is. He's a great pitcher. He's been dominant in his first 3 starts. Cortez in his 2 starts has been fantastic. Lots of innings this week. It helped a lot when they could sit the bullpen a little bit here and there. It was really, really good to see that those two guys going as long as they did and get the victories for the Yankees. But the guys that I'm worried about, not Brito so much. I mean, we'll see what his next start's like. Brito took the licking last night, like I said, but the guys that I'm really concerned about are Clark Schmidt and Domingo Germán. Schmidt has been nothing less than atrocious so far for the Yankees, and it's not a good thing for a team that's decimated with injuries. Got guys on the IL. I can't call it DL anymore, but on the IL, and it's a bad thing. You have you knew going into this season as a Yankee fan, or if you're not even a Yankee fan, if you just want to see the Yankees lose, you've seen that they were going to have some problems with starting pitching, with Luis Severino down, and with Rodon out. And Rodon actually they said that he might be out a little bit longer because there's a back injury. I don't know how there's a back injury. You don't do anything. It's an odd situation there. But the thing is I saw Severino was throwing a little bit in the outfield, so he might be back sooner rather than later, which would be a good thing because I don't know how much trust I have in Clark Schmidt, who's been terrible. I think he's only got 7 strikeouts in 6 innings this year, or what his 3 starts. He's only lasted 7 in the third, I think, in his the 3 starts he's got total, and he only has 6 strikeouts in a league that strikes out a lot. So it's tough to see Schmidt out there doing what he's doing. And then I had higher hopes for Domingo Germán out there to put in some better innings, to get some better starts, but he's been yanked on both of his starts quite early, and it's hard to watch that happen. And I don't know what they're going to do and what the plan is with the starting pitching. Is there somebody down in the minors? Could they make a trade, or are they just going to sit around and wait? And when they get Rodon back and when they get Sevy back, is it going to be better for the Yankees? Do you sit around and wait? How long can you sit around and wait when you have the Tampa Bay Rays? Look what they're doing, obviously 13-0. I know it's a bit of a tainted 13-0 considering who they played with the Washington Nationals. You had the Oakland A's, and you had the Detroit Tigers, and you have a not very good Boston team that they beat, but you can only beat who's in front of you, right? And that's one of those things that Tampa has done, and they put together some great games. I watched that game yesterday with Boston, man. They're playing old-time baseball. They're getting good innings from their starters, and they're bunting the ball around last night, and they were getting base hits yesterday afternoon. Sorry, they're getting a lot of base hits, timely hitting, and the whole thing. And that's what you win 13 in a row. So can the Yankees afford? It's early, I know, but can the Yankees afford to not go out and get a pitcher? See how long Rodon's out. Is there money there? Is there not? What do? Do you just do you plug a guy in there here and there? Do you put IKF in more to relief because he was in relief last night and he got the 1 inning? Finally found a place for that guy to play. I'm not an IKF guy. I'm not even going to pretend I'm being an IKF guy. It's not a pleasant sight watching him play in the infield and trying to play center field. I don't like it either, but it's just one of those things that you have no matter what. So it's just one of those situations that you have with IKF that you don't know what you're going to do. But I really believe that the Yankees starting pitching is going to be a major cause of concern, and it's kind of right around the league. You look at Manoah for the Jays. He hasn't been good at all, and I think Barrios, he goes for the Jays tonight against those Tampa Bay Rays that we just talked about. Expected the Rays to go 14-0 tonight and break the all-time record for wins to start a season. I really, really quite like the way the Yankees are hitting, though. I don't mind that. Yeah, the timely hitting and situational hitting is one thing. Like I said a few months ago, I think Rizzo is going to actually lead the Yankees in home runs, and he hit 2 more yesterday in non-consequential at bats when it was already 11-0 at one point. And he got two solo home runs. So I like Rizzo, and the way he plays defense, it seems so smooth and so flawless. He's really fun to watch, and it's a pleasure to having a guy over there that you can count on night in, night out. And he plays a lot, and he plays the game the right way, and he's always smiling the whole bit. So that's a huge thing for the Yankees, having that guy at second base. Solid player the whole bit, and I like the way he can brush off a win like that or a loss like they had last night. And you watch the Yankees go to try to get past that one, win 2 out of 3 this week, and we'll get into predictions for the Yankees week coming up in a second here. But the starting pitching is a major concern, I think, to a man. If you're a Yankee guy or just a baseball fan in general, if you don't have starting pitching at this day and age, and it's not so much starting pitching and wins and losses, it's innings eaters that start the game and then go 5 or 6 no matter what. You get to the bullpen and call it good. But when you're only lasting 1 like last night, or 2 1/3 or 3 1/3 like Schmidt did, and then Germán got pulled in the 3rd or the 4th in his start as well, and you got to go to your bullpen early, and often it hurts. Now with Jonathan Loaizaga, he's out, and I predicted him last week. He should have been should get some closer roles for the Yankees, and he's out for the 15-day IL, which always ends up being 30 days the way it all works out, retroactive to this day and that day and everything. So you got to think that the Yankees, their pitching staff, which you hoped what it was going to be the strong suit. They're going to score runs. They're going to get hits no matter what. But their pitching staff was a mystery, and it's showing 2 weeks into the season. And you don't want to write the season off this early. But like I said, with the Pittsburgh doing what, or not Pittsburgh, with Tampa doing what they're doing, you just never know what might happen with that team. And can somebody tell me where Cashman found this Ian Hamilton guy? Throw the fucking ball, man. Like he does his breathing through the eyes thing and control the mechanism like Kevin Costner did, or shut down the mechanism. And he doesn't check runners over at first base. He just doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies whenever he's on the mound. I don't like the way he works the game. He works slow. He doesn't check, like I said, he doesn't check runners. There was that game in Cleveland the other night that they lost, that he was, I don't want to say he was the reason, but he didn't help the situation at all when he wasn't checking runners, and 2 runners in the 8th inning. They just stole second base, and that was ended up being the winning run. One of the guys he didn't check, didn't throw over the whole bit. So where they found that guy, I have no idea. But he's one of those guys. I guess you gotta use what you got. You have a 40-man roster, but that 40-man can end up being the 60-man. And how many arms are you going to use throughout the Major League Baseball season? It's going to be interesting to see how the Yankees bounce back this week, what they got going on. Who's hot and who's not? Franchy Cordero, he had a great week, man. Oh man, this guy kind of came out of nowhere for the Yankees this past week. He had 4 home runs, 9 RBIs this week, 5 for 19, 263, game-winning home run against Baltimore. Fantastic player. He seems to have a good time. He's got a good arm from the outfield too. He plays a pretty good right field, so that'll give Judge a situation to play center field until Bader gets back. He's kind of gone under the radar. No one's really talking about him on the Yankee broadcast or on the Michael Kay show. Yeah, I'm a Yankee hugger. I listen to a lot of Yankee content and everything else. So, but you look at the Frenchie Cordero. He was the guy this week who really turned it on for the Yankees and got them the wins that I said they were going to get this past week. And it was good to see a guy come out of nowhere a little bit. And who's not? Clark Schmidt, like I said before, 2 starts this week, 7.1 innings pitched, gave up 7 home runs, and like I said, only the 6 strikeouts total in a complete strikeout heavy league. That guys are striking out at will because they don't care anymore if they even make contact. It's all or nothing in the world of professional baseball nowadays. So you got to think that's easy. If he don't pick it up a little bit, and on his next start, he might be on the outside looking in, and they'll find somebody else to take his next few starts. But what are you going to do? Like I said, with Sevy out and Rodon out, you don't know what you're going to do with your starting pitching and how it's all going to play out. It's 8-5 record right now. This week coming up, they have they have 3 more with the Twins starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I suspect they'll win 2 or 3 of those in the Bronx. You got Cortez going tonight, so I think that's going to right the ship a little bit compared to what happened that debacle yesterday. Didn't even get a beer finished, and that game was already over. It was 9-0. They had my first cocktail done last night watching the game, and then they have the Ohtani show showing up with the Angels, who still aren't a very good team, but they're improved. They got a little bit there. You got the Mike Trout show and the Ohtani show coming to the Bronx this week. I think the Yankees will win 2 or 3 going right now. They're 8-5 right now. I suspect by this time next week, when we're doing this 14-20 Yankee in review, we'll have a Yankee record of 12-7, which 12-7 sounds great, but when you're chasing a team that's 13-0, you won't even get to that win total yet, and going 4-2. So that big start for Tampa is huge, and it's a big thing for them. And if you start 13-0, you can pretty much, I wouldn't say coast, but you win a couple games here and there, because they have the Cincinnati Reds, I think, next week starting Monday. That should be 3 more wins if they win 2 or 3, or even one out of 3 against the Jays starting tonight. Tampa Bay could, I want to say, lock up a wild card spot just by going 500 the rest of the season. Like it's crazy to think, but it's actually quite true. But and who they played, and they took advantage of it. But they're playing baseball the right way. Their starting pitching's been great. They've been flying off the handle. They've been playing, like I said, they were bunting the ball around yesterday, base hits, timely hits, and that Arozarena is something to watch. He's a fun ball player to watch. He plays the game with a little bit of vim and vigor, I guess, is one thing. It was good to have Paul O'Neill, the Warrior, back in the press box last night. The way him and Michael Kay talk on a throughout the broadcast, especially when the game was over, how it was last night. But the sense of humor that Paul O'Neill has, it's fantastic to watch, and it was good to have him back in the booth last night after not being allowed for reasons undisclosed to anybody. But I think we all kind of have an idea why he wasn't allowed in the yes booth for a while there. But yeah, the Yankees, they'll bounce back this week. They'll be 12-7, I think, when this week's over, when this upcoming week is over, and this is kind of the way things go. So yeah, been a fun week. Anyways, there's our predictions. Who's hot, who's not, the week that was for the Yankees. But we'll also, as we promised, week in, week out, we'll give you birthdays and this day in Yankee history. This day in Yankee history. In 1999, the New York Yankees defeated the Baltimore Orioles 14-7 at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx in front of a whopping 26,898 people. David Cone got the win, giving it 1 earned run on 4 hits. Hideki Irabu got put in the game for a little bit there, and he tried to blow it. He gave up a lot that game. He's not very good. Remember him? I think he actually committed suicide, so I shouldn't probably talk about. He gave up 5 earned runs, only got 1 out. He pitched like 0.1 inning. He got credited for. Paul O'Neill led the way, going 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs, including a home run off of Jesse Orosco. There's a guy who played for a long time in the big leagues. He was the spot reliever, guy here, guy there, left-handed reliever out of the bullpen. He was on that '86 Mets team that won the World Series against the Boston Red Sox. He ended up with Baltimore. He ended up in Cleveland. He was also a Los Angeles Dodger. Jesse Orosco, an all-time really good pitcher. One of those guys that he just had a career pitching to a 1 batter here. He wouldn't last today because now you have to pitch to at least 3 guys and finish the inning off. But on this day in Yankee history, the Yankees beat the Baltimore Orioles 14-7 at the stadium. You look at some of those old faces on that video there if you're watching it on YouTube, or later on if you're watching on Facebook Live or whatever you're watching or listening on the podcast. It's you see some of those old faces kicking around there. Chuck Knobloch and Bernie Williams, obviously Jeter, and then Paul O'Neill up with the at-bat there. It's good to see those guys. And that's a long time ago, man. You think of the Yankee great, those teams and the like, and the dynasty years, and that's 24 years ago. 99, that 99 World Series was something else. Yeah, that's crazy. That's unbelievable. And what do we got here? Happy Yankee birthday to David Justice, born on this day 57 years ago in Cincinnati, Ohio. Justice played 2 seasons with the Yankees, 38 home runs, 111 RBIs, a .268 batting average. Justice's biggest moment in pinstripes, the 2000 ALCS Game 6, bottom 7, 3-run home run off of Arthur Rhodes of the Seattle Mariners. The Yankees went on to win the World Series that season, their 3rd in a row, in 5 games, over the New York Mets. So happy birthday to David Justice. He was a plug spot for the Yankees, man. He got some big home runs out. Big one, I remember that vividly. The old Yankee Stadium, she was rocking on that day in 2000. It was those great Yankee teams, that dynasty years, and everything else. Like I said, you never forget those ones. It's fun to watch those and see it all and see how it all came about. And you people still talk about that back in the Bronx, the good old days. And the good old days are the old days now, because it's been a while since it's been a championship hoist in the Bronx. They were 14 years since their last one. Maybe they'll bring one home this year. But anyways, that's 1420. Big Yankee Week in Review. Thank you very much for watching on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our channel today. When later on, listen to our podcast. We got a lot of other shows out. We did the 1420 last night with Dave. It's out there for your viewing pleasure and your listening pleasure, obviously. Support our sponsors, especially SeatGeek. They've been kind to us for over a year now, letting us tote their wares. It doesn't cost them anything, obviously, but for us to go out and do this. But that's the Yankee Week in Review. Once again, it's Dad, I got your hat on. I know you're watching down on me right now and shaking your head a little bit. Thank you very much for everything you did for us over the years, Dad. You were the best, and we miss you. It's been a hard 3 years. It's been a hard 3 years, but we'll talk to you anyways. 1420 Yankee Week in Review. And remember, everybody, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Today's show goes out to my dad, Steve Radlinski, who we lost 3 years ago today at the age of 82. Not a day goes by, Dad, we don't think about Steve and his wonderful sense of humor and everything that went along with my dad. And so for those of you who knew my dad, maybe raise a glass to him today or give a cheers up to the big guy in the sky. He'd really appreciate that. Dad, I got your Yankee hat on today. I haven't adjusted size or anything, so don't get upset with me. But I got your Yankee cap on that I bought for you back in 2013 and my first trip to the Bronx. So yeah, today's show goes out to Steve. We love you. We miss you. And here's to you, Dad. I love you.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Oh, it's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. Now it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Now let's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. Now it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Oh, what a game!
A message from Major League Baseball.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. For Beer with Sports, talking a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.